Yo ho ho! What's going on, boys? This is Grim Reaper bringing you One Punch Man 199 review. I want to first start off by reiterating the strength of Empty Void. I wanted to point out this speech bubble when Blast says this because it really defines exactly how strong, in my opinion, Void is, and it kind of details out the possibilities of what threat he's going to bring. Because we are going to talk about the potential of Void's threat in the future. So he says here, with the power he took coming out of Garou, he became that much stronger and revived himself. I don't think he's saying like, oh, he's way stronger now. I think he's saying like, he's that much stronger. Like measurably, the amount of power that he took from Garou, he is now that much stronger. So if Void was a value of 50, Garou's power that it was taken from him is valued as A, the variable A. So now Void in totality is 50A in parentheses, with the A in the parentheses. That equals how strong Empty Void is. That's what I think this quote is trying to say. And definitively, I think that kind of ends the conversation or ends the debate of like Empty Void versus Cosmic Garou. Now, don't get me wrong, there are some things to consider when you have this conversation, right? Fighting capabilities, the circumstance, technique, different things like that, because we've seen Garou overcome obstacles, overcome individuals who are stronger than him repeatedly in the series. But I just want to point out that the potential that Blast has, how strong we saw Caped was up against Garou, because we had never seen Caped go that hard before. He was getting stronger. Caped was getting stronger too. So like, to consider what we've seen from the top tiers in our verse so far, to think about the aliens that helped Blast dispel that serious punch to the second, is Void supposed to be like incomprehensibly stronger than everyone we've seen so far? Because it wasn't like, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that he's gonna be stronger than Cape, but I'm saying it wasn't like Garou was just bodying Blast. I personally hold the stance and the belief that Blast was actually beating Garou when they fought. Garou happened to capture or copy his capabilities and believed himself to have outmaneuvered Blast already. But I think Blast is much more capable of beating individuals that are stronger than him too. Or is very capable of beating individuals that are stronger than him too, as proven by how he dealt a fatal blow or a serious blow to Empty Void when they were equals. And what he's managing to do now. So like, and after he got blessed. So that's why I want to bring out or try and emphasize the fact that I think he's trying to give us an answer. Our speculation can still one still has room to maneuver because of the things we just talked about, like the technique and things like that. But like the strength of Empty Void may lend it to be that only Saitama can beat him. And we know that's kind of how it goes, but we aren't there yet. We haven't necessarily had that outlined yet. Garou had to reach a point to where it was only Saitama who could beat him. That's the first person that we've seen do that. Before that, every single other person, we could have assumed that like another S-Class could have beaten them, like Deep Sea King, maybe Elder Centipede. We could have even said that like Tatsumaki could have beaten him. Goketsu. Like, people now try and claim that Goketsu's not one of the strongest dragons, but he was intimidating back then. He's still intimidating. He would probably beat a lot, if not the majority of the Monster Association and their dragons as well, their cadres. So that's what kind of like defines, or I wouldn't say is the pinnacle, but it fits as a suitable goal to reach as a monster. We know you're not gonna beat Saitama. We know you're not going to destroy or end the series. How far are you going to get? Fight Saitama. Get to a point where you cause so much trouble, where you're so tenacious with the threat that you pose, that only Caped is able to surmount that obstacle. That's what we want. And when we get that display with exceptional art and exceptional emotion and great storytelling tropes and narratives that one is known for spinning, it makes it that much more of a great storyline. So what potential does the next or the upcoming attack of Empty Void really have? Like, is it going to interfere with the Neo Hero storyline? Are the samurai going to get involved like they did for the a Monster Association invasion, like, what other things can we expect from like Empty Void's like next big assault? Because that's what Blast is on about. He's saying that he believes that Empty Void's going to deliver an attack next, a surprise attack, going from like the whole healing scenario to like basically going after Blast, I guess, to get revenge. That might be the one of the key motivations that Empty Void has because of what. Oh, sorry, my bad, guys. That may be one of Empty Void's greatest motivations because of what Blast is pointing out here. That, like, if we stay together whenever we go to wherever Flash is going, Empty Void may sense that and then just blow it up. Or may just blitz us or whatever like that. So maybe his clear motivation hasn't been defined. To me, I would do a redraw, or excuse me, a reread, to look at, like, the dialogue in the preceding chapters right before like 197, because I think that's when it's really detailed, like as to what his potential may be, or what his motivation may be in reference to what God's motivation may be too. Because while we will touch on God in this video, I think Empty Void still has the ability to have notions or desires that are separate and maybe even contrasting to what God wants. Maybe he's not just some blind puppet just doing what he wants. Sure, he's willing, but Homeless didn't seem to just be doing what God wanted. It was almost as if Homeless's ambitions aligned with God. That's what we were talking about before. That's what one of our strong theories were, that like it seemed as if God wanted to, and I still kind of believe that the evidence is still there to support it. I don't think it can be dispelled yet, that God's intention is to destroy humanity, and people who had that desire or who expressed that desire were clearly either influenced by or somehow are affiliated with God. That's what I thought the situation was. But that's neither here or there. Empty Void's a big threat. Empty Void's a serious threat. Empty Void may be a threat bigger than anything else so far, including Garou, and he may already be at that power level. If that's the case, how strong is Blast to be, like, I guess, a rival to him? Like, we're talking about people believe that Cosmic Garou was already way stronger, or like had already disregarded Blast because he didn't choose to continue the fight at the time period. But Blast not only beat somebody who was stronger than him before and who was blessed before, but now may still be relevant. And we've seen how he did up against how he did when attacking a newly rejuvenated Empty Void in space. Like, maybe Blast is stronger than what we think. Maybe Blast is still an individual in the series who is capable of stopping the threat that Empty Void's potentially going to pose. Or, on the other side, or the more likely side, I think, maybe he's going to be the obstacle, the great wall that falls before Saitama has to come and fix the threat, and fix the great demise that Empty Void will bring. I don't know, Bo. Let's keep it pushing, though. Another thing I wanted to touch on was the little thing that Blast is talking about, right? So that does play into the whole Empty Void situation. The little button, the signal that's going to be sent to Blast whenever there's something heinous going on in reference to God. That's what I think it's going to be used in general, but in particular, it's meant for Empty Void. I'm curious how that exactly is going to come into play, because we saw how the transmitters were used in the Monster Association arc, right? Flashy lost his. They told him, hey, don't go asking for help because pretty much we're not going to be able to get out there. Like, it was Tatsumaki used it to try and identify where the heroes were, and she couldn't find a bunch of different people. Like, whatchamacallit, during a redraw, one of the redraws, Todd Emperor was sitting there fighting Phoenix Man, and as he was like punching through Phoenix Man, he saw a flashy flash on his radar or whatever, and was trying to get some help from him, but that wasn't the case. So like, it can be incorporated and utilized in many different ways coming from one's point of view, and I'm excited to see how he incorporates that within the storyline, because honestly, it's kind of like a Buster Call in One Piece, right? Or like some crazy ass power where like you're basically summoning one of the strongest motherfuckers in the verse, if not the second strongest guy in the verse that we've seen so far. Third, if we want to talk about Cosmic before he went to Jupiter or whatever. So like, or after he went to Jupiter or whatever. So this button has potential to be the catalyst, the big jump off point for the next big attack of Empty Void. Or excuse me, you get what I'm saying. Like, it's gonna be involved. Like, whenever we get that big thing, that big power event that's happening, that's gonna be the signal. That's gonna be what signals it. Like, Empty Void's gonna show up, and then Blast gotta show up, and that's the fight right there, man. It's gotta be like that. It has to be in the chain of events that happens for greatness involving Blast and Empty Void. That button has to be involved. So keep an eye out for it. Will Sonic or Flashy Flash get blessed? Ooh, listen, bro. I've been noticing people in the comment section, because we have the whole like Atomic versus Flashy Flash thing going on. So people have always like played into the rivalry. Everybody loves it as long as we don't do it overdo it, right? So people have been commenting that like it seems like Flash is getting a great display, like an exceptional display, like a lot more screen time than maybe any other heroes. Like, I don't even remember Metal Bat getting screen time like this. I don't remember Pig God getting screen time like this. I don't remember Child, maybe Child in like the original version, but not this. Yeah, maybe in the original version, Child is kind of comparable, but like that's what we're talking about, right? Like, we're talking about like the main stage. Amai didn't get that. He's a pretty boy, man. He's a pretty boy, man. Like, that's what it is. He's kind of getting the Amai treatment. Because Amai has been relevant since the beginning, bro. Since the beginning, since letting niggas in, bro. Since season 1, bro. Like, since watching, man. Like, since out there. It's just recently that we're getting hints of the whole monster thing and the truth behind Amai. Like, it's just recently, man. But he's been around for a long-ass time, bro. A long-ass time. Like, that's seems to be what's going on. That he's getting a treatment similar to that. Maybe even more screen time because he's getting more fights. Amai's always gotten, like, dealt with, like, demons, no, not even demons, bro, less than demons, and like handle them pretty easily. So we've never gotten a full display from him, but we've gotten that several times from Flashy Flash, and now he's getting an Amai type role even after getting multiple fights. Like, that's a lot, bro. So it kind of makes it seem, or it kind of gives weight to the idea, maybe even the growing idea, if this picks up. I'm not saying I'm not the first one to think of this, but like, how likely is it that Flashy ends up being the target of God's blessing? Flashy or Sonic? Because it's likely to be, especially with the rivalry or the friendship that's going on, it's being built up right now. That's how you do it. That's how you do it. You take the time right now to not only establish their friendship, but to build it up right in our faces. We now have an established repertoire between the two of them, between Sonic and Flashy Flash. Not only do they go back, but we've seen them we've not seen them in current day. If we see them together 2 or 3 more times, maybe even going through some like turmoil or like some emotional difficulties, or like them dealing with an obstacle together a time after this, that'll be like an accepted or like maybe even a championed relationship or a duo amongst the fandom. Like, niggas would really start to like appreciate, like, if not like fanboy over Sonic and Flashy, and then not in that homo way, or excuse me, not in that weird way like you see in the ships or whatever, but I mean like a real like duo team up type shit. So like, if that's the case, on one end, one of these two guys could get blessed. Like, let it be known that if Empty Void gets clapped, like, potentially this power could be like up for grabs for whomever is like able to like suck it up. I'm not implying that like anybody can just do that, take that power like that. Maybe there's some implication that like because Empty Void was blessed in the past, that's the only reason why he would have been in outer space. That he still had some type of blessed power and like was able to go into outer space, and like that's why he's able to absorb energy like that, because of the power that God gave him in general. So maybe there's something lingering, or maybe it didn't disappear when he got clapped by Blast. But like, bro, he's gonna get clapped, and when that happens, who's gonna be left to take that power, or who's gonna try to get blessed next? Because this is the strongest disciple that God has right now. So what does that really mean about? Excuse me. What does that really say about like where Sonic and Flashy Flash are gonna intersect and break off? Like, what does that say about Flashy Flash's potential in the future? Like, what does that say about Flashy Flash and Saitama? Like, is he just gonna go around controlling heroes, beating heroes down? Like, he's faced somebody who was trying to be a monster. Wouldn't it be a funny contrast if the next great threat that he had to beat down was somebody who had gone rogue as a hero? Like, what would that do to Caped? Would Caped's idea or mode of what it really means to be a hero change if Flashy Flash accepts a blessing from God and goes as corrupt and as evil as Garou was going to the point where he even killed Tadio by accident, but killed Tadio damn near. So like, there's potential for like some great building here. I would love to see Flashy betray his morals and fall for like the ambition for power. But coincidentally, I think that's left for Sonic. Of the two, I think Sonic would take the blessing. Because their stigma is for that man, not God. Not God. Sonic doesn't even know about God as far as I can tell. Or as far as I'm remembering. Yeah, I don't think Sonic knows about God. So like, the fact that he ate these monster cells, bro, that kind of like almost guarantees the fact that if you try to offer Sonic a blessing, he's gonna try and take it. Almost guarantees, because this is an individual who has exceptional willpower. We've seen that in his attempts to try and overcome Caped. So maybe he has the ability to overcome the addiction for power as well. But I'm not sure that's the case, and I think that the ambition itself is a double-edged sword. So now we could see a blessed Sonic overcome Flashy Flash, and then really go after Cape like he wanted to. The last thing I'll touch on is Sonic's ambition, if that's like too different from his current personality. I was thinking about this because it does seem like really, really different from his ambition. Like, if I were to entertain an idea seriously of like Sonic being blessed, to me that fits. To me, that argument that we just articulated in terms of like the fact that he is striving for power, he's striving to beat Cape, he's striving to be stronger, like, and we've seen the things he's willing to do for that strength, as far as even like eating a monster cell, and that's kind of a great indicator that he may even accept the blessing if that's offered to him, and it's guaranteed power that he's seen as well too, that he's gonna like get a chance to see firsthand, especially if Empty Void shows up. So like, that's what made me like think like, if that's plausible, and I think that's really likely. I think that's actually like a really interesting storyline to at least entertain. Then isn't like starting a ninja school that's like peaceful and like you won't have to do all the killing stuff like ideal, like Sonic wants it or whatever? Isn't that kind of soft? Isn't that kind of like not flow with what he's been portraying the entirety of the storyline? Like, he's just been a killer. That's all it was. He was in prison as a killer, like came out as a killer. Like, he's just been a killer, bro. Like, killed Hammerhead. Bro, right when this fight started, bro, in 199, bro, I was like, what? Damn, like, you out here cutting boys' heads off, bro? Like, what? Damn, like, what you doing? Nigga, like, Murata? Like, and they dead, bro. These niggas are dead, bro. Like, but regardless, I'm going to end it right here. 199 may need a redraw. I'm here for it if it does get it. Yo!